Welcome back to the Shop Mini RC, everybody. I'm Ken, and today we're looking at some new Furitek stuff, new-ish, new to us for sure. We've got the Furitek, what is this one called? The Microboost. That's right, Microboost. It's got an LED screen on there. It's for 124 and 128 drift and race cars. It's censored or sensorless, depending on how you want to run it. Really, I think this is more applicable to the drift guys because they like the blingy stuff. In racing, you kind of want to keep your electronics minimal. You want to keep them lightweight. You want to keep them as little on the battery consumption as possible. So this guy having an LED screen on there, maybe not ideal for high-end racing, but we're definitely going to check it out. And same with this motor. This is the Lumapower. It's a 5500 kV brushless censored motor for drift or racing. Again, I think it's going to be more ideal for drift. It's got this little light on there that blinks and shows like backfiring and stuff, which is kind of cool. But again, I think more for a drift car than the serious racer. Now, maybe it'll work great for serious racing. We're about to find out though, because we've got this guy. This is the new X-Ability. Bam, this car is a two-time world championship designed car. That Jose Paquito designed this car, and he has won the PN World Championships for Mini Z Racing 2 years in a row. And this year he is releasing his first car. This thing is awesome. It's a beautiful car, really well done, really innovative in the Mini Z world and how some of this stuff has been done. These are like 8th scale front end here, like they would use on a bigger 8th scale on-road car, and some 3-point mounted wheels in the rear to make sure that your wheels stay completely centered. No wobble on the wheels. A lot of times Mini Zs have a little bit of wobble in the wheel because of the way the wheels mount on there. These have no wobble. It's crazy. Such a well-designed car. And so we're going to try this stuff in here. Again, we might swap electronics later, put these in our drift car, and then put some other more race-specific stuff in here. But it's what we've got to put in here for now, so we're going to check it out. All right, let's see what we've got here. This thing is tiny. It's a little thick, but again, that part of that's the screen. But this guy, we got our power, got our receiver. It's got a little LED light. Not sure what that's for, but that's cool. Sensor cable, motor cable. So interesting. Then we got our motor here. So that's an interesting little setup here. Boom, just plug this guy in. Again, most racers would just solder directly to it. They'd solder their motor directly to the wires, would go straight there. You wouldn't use a plug, but this is nice for if we swap things. We'll see how this fits. Hopefully it's not too much cable. Seems like it is kind of a lot, so we might end up having to cut some of this down and change up the soldering a little bit on here, but we'll see. We'll see. Again, interesting, there's a little LED. That's fun, especially for drift cars. I think that's one of the things, like I said, the target audience for this is drift because they like the bling, they like the lights, they like the scale. And I agree. I think it's awesome. But when it comes to racing, I think it's a little different. I think you want to kind of minimize all the overhead that exists in electronics like that. You don't want all that stuff. Oh, look at this. So there's a little knob here. Basically, you can go left and right, and that's going to go through our settings inside. So that's pretty cool. All right, we need to get ourselves a receiver here so we can power this guy up. I did want to point out that the ESC comes with a couple different censored motor plugs. So there's the sensor wire from the ESC to these different motor plugs here. And then it also comes with an extra plug here. So if you don't have the motor and you don't have to cut the plug off, you can just use this plug to attach to whatever motor you choose, which is awesome. We have our little Fly Sky receiver here. I don't know if this is going to fit here. We'll see. Let's try to figure out how we're going to lay out our electronics here. Might be a little snug. Actually, that guy fits in there perfect. So that might work. And then we just got to fit our receiver here. And here we go. We're all installed. ESC fits in here perfect. We're using a Noble receiver right there. Got the motor installed, pinion, car's ready to run. So let's go ahead and plug this guy in, check it out. I'm going to show you the features. I do have a deep dive video on the Furitek app it is for the crawlers, but it shows you all the basics. I'll put that right over here. There's going to be different settings based on whether you're using a race ESC, a drift ESC, a crawler ESC, all different kinds, and which version of the ESCs, if you're using like the MicroPython versus a Lizard versus the Microboost versus the other versions that are out there. They're all going to have a little bit different settings, but the app is essentially the same. So you can check that out. But one of the cool things about this guy is you don't need the app. So let's go ahead and power this guy up. I'm going to turn on the Noble. And we'll go ahead and plug this guy in. And look at that. Hold on, let's do that again. Let's do that again so you can see the startup. How fun is that? Okay, so you can see right there we're at 8 volts. Live telemetry. How cool is that? And then it even gives you the runtime on there, so you can see 3 seconds of runtime. 4 seconds. And if I stop, no longer have runtime. Give it just a tiny bit of throttle, it starts counting. So it only counts if you have throttle. Does it count in reverse? Oh, sure does. Count on brake? Counts on brake as well. So I'm braking right now and it's giving us a counter. So that's interesting. That's pretty cool. On this little motor here, you can see that. Ooh, lights up based on how much throttle we give it. Very cool for drifting. While we're talking about the lights, here's that LED that we had. Plug that guy in. And backfire. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Sorry for the sound effects, guys. But how cool is that? So you got this for your exhaust. Put it in your exhaust on your drifter, and you've got some backfire light, which is awesome. You can also change stuff on this, on how it flashes and whatnot. So we'll get into that here in a little bit as well as we go through the menus. But one of the things I wanted to show is that you don't need the app for this. Like I said, there's a tiny little switch here. Now, the problem with this switch is, while it is super cool, is this right here. I couldn't face this the other way. Like I couldn't turn this 180 degrees because our switch would hit right here on this chassis rail or this battery mount, and we wouldn't have had access to it. So we had to put it this way. So I've got a little bit of access in there because that's where the receiver sits. So I can kind of get in there, and you're going to have to use, depending on where you place yours, a tool to do it. So you can see here, it's got a left and a right, and then you can click in as well. I kind of wish there was a little bit more of a knob on here. It's so hard to see down in there, but you can see right there. Hold on. All right, so you should be able to see down in there. There's like a little bit of rounded bit there. Okay, now when you have access with your finger, you can kind of push it left and right and then click in. I kind of wish there was just a little bit more for us to grab onto, maybe a little square nub or something going on there so that I could use a tool like this to left and right it, because it's very difficult to do if you've got limited space. But you can still use the app. You have to have one of the dongles. You plug in your little dongle, you can use the app, and we'll show that here in a minute too. But you basically can get your finger on there or a tool and go click in to get it to switch. You can see running, and then you can go left, or actually we're going right, excuse me, throttle curve, battery, settings, advance, about, exit. So running, throttle curve, battery, settings, advance, about, and exit. Okay, so in running, you've got your mode, which is your forward reverse, forward brake reverse, your rotation direction, your BEC output. Look at this, you can change your BEC output. So you click on it and then you can go left and right, 7.4, 5.4. We can go to stay, keep it on 5.4 for now. And then you just click and hold, or you just click, excuse me, and that backs you out. Next, low voltage cutoff. Voltage cutoff, we don't have any, huh? Okay, well, we're gonna wanna set that to at least, let's just do 3. And then you've got your max forward, max reverse, max brake, drag brake, exit. Okay, and you don't even have to be on exit there. I think you can just hold to exit. There's our throttle settings. Rev limiter, backfire. I think the rev limiter actually, again, we'll go through the stuff that's specific to this ESC. There you go, you can turn that on, all that stuff. Max RPMs, what it drops to, so you've got that rev limiter, you know, in your full throttle, it's like bam, 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 bam. It'll do the same thing. So very cool for drifting again. What else we've got? Oh, hold on. Again, I kind of wish we had a little nubby to grab here. It's easier with your finger for sure, but once it's installed, it is what it is. So instead of me going through this and showing you all the different settings, I'm actually going to use the app. This is very convenient though if you're out at the track. Maybe you're not allowed to use Bluetooth for racing, or you want to install this like in your dash. That would be kind of cool behind the steering wheel on a super detailed out car. And yeah, either way, it's just really cool to be able to access it without the Bluetooth, but I definitely find the app way more convenient. So we're going to use the app, especially on here on video, but you can see it's still pretty legible. You can see the icons. It's actually is easier to see in person than what you can see here on the video. Oops, not forward reverse, forward brake. Again, I just wish it was a little bit more friendly to use with a tool. Hell, even our throttle curve. Look at that, guys. I don't know if we can adjust this here. Can we? Forward. Oh, you sure can. Look at that. That is wild. So everything you can do on the app, you can do on here. Battery. Hold on. Let's go back to throttle curve. Okay, it's just that. Back out. We'll long press it. Okay, and battery here. Voltage, offset. If you need to set up an offset on that because of the way your batteries read in, you can do that. So that's cool. Settings. Come on, click on there, please. There we go. The motor setting, 5500 kV, 6500. You know, I wonder if, how far down does it go? 2500. All right, cool. So that's good. Man, it's actually pretty frustrating using this guy here. There we go. It's a little better. You just got to have the right angle on it. Like I said, if there was just kind of a little nub there so that I could slide it, or maybe even like kind of a U-shaped nub so you can go left, right, and then push down with the tool. It doesn't even need to stick out forward, just a little bit. It would make this a lot easier to use. Because again, most people are going to have this installed in the car and you can't just get your finger down in there. So that's one thing that kind of frustrates me. They need a little bit better interface there to use as far as the interface between your finger or a tool, oh look at that, and the device itself. So RPMs on the left, throttle on the right. How freaking cool is that? That is so neat. Again, I love this for like a dash, right? Put it in the dash of the car, somewhere where you can visibly see it while you're running. Freaking cool. All right, let's go ahead and get into the actual app, and I'll show you all the different settings because going through this is not quite visually easy, especially when I'm clicking through it like this, and it's not clicking accurately because I'm using a tool. Just wanted to see one more thing. Settings, advanced. Let's see what's in advanced real quick. Oh, look at that. Boost, timing. Start B, stop B, end turbo, timing T, delay. So again, some of these I don't know exactly what they are. Increase rate, decrease rate. Whereas in the app, you have a little bit better description. All right, so there's our hardware version, hardware name, all that. Very cool. Very cool, guys. I mean, it's such a cool thing, for sure. All right, let's get into the app. So you will need the one of the Bluetooth dongles. Any of them will work. So if you have any other older Furitek system that happens to have a removable Bluetooth, you can use that, or you can pick one up extra from Furitek or Furitek USA or Direct RC or any of the places that carry Furitek. Usually will carry the dongles as well. Always make sure your app is up to date. I've had a lot of people have issues. Well, they'll go into the Furitek app. They haven't updated it in a while. They'll try to do settings on a new ESC, and then they wonder why things aren't saving or aren't adjusting right, and it's because the app on their phone wasn't updated. It'll be interesting to see how this thing, the interface here, changes if there's firmware updates. I assume that the firmware update for the ESC and the firmware update for the interface here is all kind of one firmware. So if you update the firmware on this, it's going to update the interface. So just be aware, though, if you need to update the firmware on this, you do have to use the app. You can't just update the Furitek. You know, there's no way to connect without having the app. So you definitely need to have the dongle to update no matter what. All right, so we'll go ahead and open the app here. The app is awesome. It's my favorite thing about Furitek products. Look at that, auto-connected, because there was only one thing to connect to, so it knew to go and connect to it. If you ever do need to connect, it'll look like this, and you can just choose the item. If you have multiple items, make sure you know which item. There are ways to change that, so you can change your Bluetooth name here, reset Bluetooth name, and reset factory. That's all in your main settings here. That way, if you have multiple cars running or anything like that, yours has your name, so you know which one it is. You can also password protect it. Temperature protection here, you can set that. That way, if it gets too hot, it will shut itself down. Your temperature unit, motor, different kV. We were set to 2200, even though we're supposed to be at 55 because we messed with it when we were showing you. You can also, like I said, change your password, update the ESC board, which is the actual ESC itself. And it looks like we might already have a firmware update here. We are on 1.4, but we need to go to 1.6, so we'll go ahead and do that. We'll update it. Doesn't take long at all. Now it's interesting that it says the device kind is display, ESC device kind. Okay, I guess it's showing for both the display and the ESC itself. If you remember back in the day, Furitek actually had an external board you could plug in that was basically the same type of display, but it was a completely external board. And I think for the 1/10 scale, they actually sell that for their drifters as well, so you can actually put that display in your dash. They also have this same stuff if you have like their avatar system, which is their transmitter and receiver. You can actually do all these same adjustments through the transmitter as well, which is very cool. Now, the update's going to depend on your internet speed and all that kind of stuff, so just be aware of that. Went ahead and reset. Awesome. Firmware update successful. Reset the car. We're good to go. We can reconnect again. And then we can check our display board. If there's any update there, looks like there is a small update. Added features, Hall angle, reverse delay, and RPM limit to be able to display on the board. So that's cool. So some new options there. Definitely dig that. We'll let this update. And there we go. Validating. Good stuff. Looks like it didn't actually have to reset the ESC there because it's just the display. Look at that, 7.9 volts. So now it's displaying like that. What's going on here? Did we disconnect? There we go. So this little red icon up here in the corner is your device info, then your actual settings here. Oh, it looks like it reset our motor for some reason. Let's try 5500 again. Back out, go into running, telemetry, all that cool stuff that you get with it, and we're still 5500. That's good. All right. So again, I go through this app pretty in depth for the other cars, so you can check that out, but definitely some cool stuff in here, especially when you start to get into all the different settings for the screen and all that. We'll get there in a second. Just kind of want to run through this. This is the first time I'm looking at it through the app. All of our different speed settings, max brake. I thought that was 50%. Thought we were lower there. We'll go ahead and drop this guy down a little bit though. We don't know till we run this car what exactly we need, but first thing we need to do actually is calibrate the car, and I think we're probably already okay. And you can do this through here, which is actually super nice as well, but it's going to be essentially the same thing. You can I do it through here while the app is connected? Oh, you sure can. Look at that. Maybe? Oh, no, you can't. Oh, yeah, you can. Look at that. So we'll go ahead and do throttle. Calibrate. It's going to ask start calibrate. You guys probably can't see that. It's probably hard to see, but I can go over, say yes. Beep, beep, beep. It says throttle neutral, so we make sure we are set to neutral. Oh, look at that. It's still showing on the app too. How freaking cool is that? And it shows on the device here. Look, it's kind of blurry. It's like, whoop, we waited too long. And now it's actually running the motor. Your motor should not run when you're calibrating. So let's try again. And I will stop talking so much. So running, throttle, go all the way. Actually, can we go backwards? That'd be interesting. Nope, you gotta go forwards. Yeah, you gotta go all the way forward. All right, so click through here. Calibrate. Start calibrate. It's going to ask for neutral. Make sure you're fully neutral. Click. Max forward. Click while you're holding it. Max reverse while you're holding it. Click. And then it says save. Yes or no? And you say yes. It's going to restart. And we should be golden now. Oh, you know what? We might need to usually. Oh, there we go. There we go. It needs to find center before it allow you to throttle. So it was just kind of taking a second to initialize, but we're good now. So that's freaking awesome. And you can see our throttle will go to 0 exactly. It's not like off a little bit, and it will go all the way to 100 and all the way to 100 reverse. 99, at least close. So sometimes that has to do with the accuracy of your actual throttle. Anyway, all right, so let's go through some more of the very cool settings here. Our neutral forward, brake frequency, so that's cool. Double tap, 0.05 seconds, 1 second, or 2 seconds for a reverse delay. Drive frequency, those are all new to this. A reverse delay, drive frequency, I'm pretty sure that's new on this one. I don't recognize that. Enable revolution limiter, again, that's for, see that? Pretty cool. And you can do the cutoff RPMs and the drop back RPM. Enable RPM limiter. So that doesn't actually cut out. It's not like a cutoff. It just limits it. Oh, what is that? We are at 10%, I guess. That's max speed. So that's interesting. If we crank this guy up, will we get all the way to 100? There we go. Interesting, interesting. We also have the what happens with the motor LED. Does it brighten? Does it do lightning? Does it backfire? So there's the backfire. Pop, pop, pop. Just like our LED here is. So you can set that setting, which is cool. I just like the brighten. It brightens up when you run it. So sometimes it takes a minute for it to change. We'll go to mode 4 on that. Actually, let's do bright. It just gets bright. Actually, is that just always on? I think that might be always on. Let's try brighten. I've noticed that sometimes when you make a change, it doesn't happen for a little bit. Like you have to do a couple brakes and forwards and brakes, and sometimes then it'll kick in and it starts doing it. But there we go. So now we're back. Anyway, the point is you've got a lot of cool options here. I've reached out to Furitek and I've asked them to have some settings here for the backfire LED that are just like a brake light. So you can get it throttle and then brake, throttle and then brake, not just backfire. Because this would be really cool on race cars or like F1s. You put it as that blinky light in the back of the F1, and when you brake, it would light up. That'd be super awesome, super easy for them to add, just adding another backfire mode. And you could just add brake light, stuff like that. Be very awesome. Next, we've got our throttle curve. Like I said, you can change all this if you want to drop this down and make a crazy throttle curve. You can mirror your front, your forward, and your reverse throttle curves if you want. Go ahead and reset that. And then we've got advanced, which again, you've got boost with all the timing and boost. You've got turbo with all that. And then Hall angle, you can adjust that as well. Now, I'm not big into this type of tuning. I should be because I race, but like I don't really mess with this stuff too much. I don't even know what Hall angle is, guys. Why don't you guys tell me down in the description below if you know what all this stuff is. And then our battery settings again. You can do your voltage correction factor. If there's a problem with the voltage and it's not matching, you can adjust that to get the proper voltage based on whether you're running 2S or 3S, stuff like that, I believe. So yeah. Anyway, so before we go run this thing, I did want to show a couple other little features of it. There is a switch here. It's not the power switch, but it is an always on or use the power switch. So right now it's set, I don't know if you can read it in there, it says always on. So that means that when we plug it in, we're going to start up. Right? Not everybody wants that necessarily. A lot of guys do though. But if you don't want it like that and you want to be able to plug it in and have it not turn on, you can flip this little switch over. Again, it's pretty inset, so it's not something you're going to be changing on and off. But you flip that switch and now the little knob here, the little paddle, will be your on and off. So we can plug it in and then you just push in on your little switch, your paddle, and it'll turn on. Okay. Let's try that again. Push in. Interesting, it's just shutting off. I wonder if, here, let's try holding it. We'll just hold it until it initializes. There we go. I don't know what that's about. To turn off, you're going to do kind of the same thing, right? You're going to click and hold, and it's going to say, oh, go back, click and hold. I don't know what's going on there. It just shut down, I guess. Usually it says, do you want to turn it off? So we can click and hold. You can see it says turn off or reset or exit. Don't even have a chance. There you go. For some reason, it's going into the screensaver mode, and I'll show you that in a minute. But there you go. Yeah, after 5 seconds, it's going to screensaver mode. Either way, you can do that, or you can click and hold, and clicking and holding should shut her down. It says unplug battery, turn off, but then it turns itself off anyway. And so, yeah. But you do always want to unplug your battery. That's kind of the ideal way to do it. I don't know what's going on with that. If we turn it on and give it some throttle, does it catch? No, it just shuts off. So you do need to hold it for a second to make sure it turns all the way on. Until it does that initialization. That third beep is it finding center on your receiver and transmitter. All right, so that's screensaver. The screensaver will go away as soon as you give it throttle or do any kind of interacting with it. Also, you can flip your little screen to this just by moving it forward and backward. Okay, so we have that screen, and then we have, like I said, the that screen there. So just in case you were wondering, this is center number here is your max RPM. So if you have like a throttle cutoff and whatnot, you'll see your max RPM there, and then your live RPM in the little tachometer there. So screensaver, you can change that in your settings. Let's go back. In here, there's a couple extra settings that the app didn't seem to have. So let's go ahead and move through here. Auto shutdown. So that's a thing. And then screensaver. And then battery type. So you can change your battery type between LiPo and lithium high voltage. Okay. I kind of wish that would just rotate, right? If you keep going the same direction, like we go down, and if we go down again, it would just rotate. So if you're in a list and you're at the very bottom, you don't have to click all the way back up to the top. You can just keep going. That would be nice. But you do have to go back. There's no rotation through. But then screensaver, none, 5 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So yeah, 5, 3, 1, 5 seconds, and then none. We'll put it on 5 seconds, and then auto shutdown. Disable, auto shutdown after 10 minutes, auto shutdown after 30 minutes, auto shutdown after 60 minutes. And again, those features are not in the app. So just be aware of that. There's also reset factory, temperature protection, all that stuff that was in the app. And then click and hold the back out. There also was something mentioned on the website about race data logging, where you can track the temperature and RPM curves, histograms, other stuff like that. I was not able to find it in here, no matter where I went, through the About Us or the About section or in Advanced, any of that. I could not seem to find in any of these screens where that race data logging was. So if you happen to know, let me know. Maybe they took that out. I remember seeing an early prototype version where they had that, and I kind of was curious, like, who would really use that. You can use it on the app. I guess this logs it while you're running it, whereas you don't have to keep the app open, because in the app you can see all that stuff live. It shows all that stuff as well. But yeah, so I don't know where it's at in there. Anyway, there's a lot of cool features in this little guy. I dig it. There's a couple different color options, and yeah, just a cool ESC overall. Cool motor here, especially if you're into this kind of cool cutting edge technology. Nobody else is doing this kind of stuff. I do hope that they still provide us with all these features in a screenless, lower profile, more efficient ESC and motor combo. That would be nice for the race guys. But again, I don't think it's going to add too much. I don't think it's going to be too bad as far as the battery drain and whatnot. It is going to drain more battery. I do kind of wish there was a way to just have that screen turn off completely. I couldn't find that. To make there's the screensaver, but again, as soon as you give it throttle, this comes back up. And during racing, I don't need that at all. I'd rather the screen just shut off after a certain amount of time, and then the screen turns on when I come in here and click on it. It shouldn't turn on when I'm just interacting with the throttle and the brakes. I'd prefer to not see the screen being used from a power consumption standpoint. Anyway, all right, so we'll go ahead and run this guy for the first time. Like I said, we're going to use the same running video that we used for the X-Ability video. So if you've already seen the X-Ability video, it's going to be the same running footage. But yeah, maybe you'll enjoy it. Got a little music going on with it that was made for the X-Ability, and yeah, should be a good time. So let's go run this thing, and then we'll come back and give our final thoughts.
Yeah. Tiny wheels, big dreams, X-Ability in the building. XB1. Let's go. I'm on that 128 grind, small but never slow. Precision in the chassis, watch that little beast go. X-Ability 1, yeah, you know the name sings. Custom and tight like championship rings. No clone, no copy, this one's got soul. Unique DNA, yeah, we built it bold. From the pits to the podium, this one is it. Catch the apex tight, man, this whip is lit. Cause XB1 got that one of a kind flow. Rolling on the track like a storm on a low. Built from the dream, designed to stun. Ain't nothing like the X, nothing like the XB1. Mini King, let it rip, no fear. Got the whole crew stepping when they see it steer. It's the next evolution, game just begun. Put respect on the name, X-Ability 1. Carbon touch and servo snapping with intent. ESC tuned tight, torque heaven sent. That will and diff balance got me feeling zen. While they go so wide, I'm tight to the end. Clean lines, like I drew them in code. Laser cut vibes, yeah, this ain't no mold. Hard body shell, click, no shake. Dialed in so hard, it makes the ground quake. From my workbench to the track, every scoop and kiss. Little giant with the heart of a myth. Crowds lean in when we plug in the power. So many winds coming, gonna make it rain. Shower! This ain't a toy, this a message in motion. A build born of patience, vision, devotion. Every lapse a brushstroke, painting it raw. The art of control with mechanical law. Yeah. XB1 got that one of a kind flow. One of a kind, never slow. Rolling on the track like a storm on the low. Can't match that low. Built from the dream, I designed to stun. Made to win, made to run. Ain't nothing like the X, nothing like the XB1. Nah. Mini King, let it rip, no fear. Got the whole crew stepping when they see it steer. It's the next evolution, game just begun. Put respect on the name, X-Ability 1. You see it move, you know it's real. It's not about the size, it's about the feel. It's not about the size, it's about the feel. XB1, crown it.
Boom. There we have it, ladies and gents. I'll be honest, pretty impressive. The throttle curve and the resolution of the throttle felt really good. I'm really digging these electronics. Furitek, I feel like, has always made really good stuff. When they first stepped into Mini Z small scale stuff, they had the momentum. I think that was a pretty good ESC. It just didn't have quite the tunability and some of the features that some people wanted, and it wasn't censored. So that was kind of an issue as well. But overall, it was a pretty good ESC. And then they came out with another new one. We had some minor issues with that, but overall they fixed it, and that became this. And now this is, it's good. It's really good. And I think for a drift ESC, you're not going to find better. Personally, again, I'm not a huge drift guy yet. I've done a little bit, but this seems like it's got all the features you would ever want from a drift ESC. Plus, it's just got the cool factor, and I really dig that. So we're going to probably swap this over to our drift car pretty soon, and then we're going to try to see what we can get for this car, whether it's a new Furitek setup or something else. We'll probably use the new Furitek stuff. I'm pretty sure. Let me check something. I mean, they've still got the Cyclos, so we could throw that in there. It's a little bit bigger than this guy. And again, it was that other version. But now they've got the Microboost. So the Microboost is a smaller version without the screen and stuff. I think it's the bare bones version of this. So we're going to check out the Microboost. I know they're promoting that with the Micro Bs and the Micro Ts, so the off-road buggies, but you could run it in a Mini Z as well. So we'll have to check one of those out in a Mini Z and see how that runs. And then we're going to probably use their Hellfire motor because I do like that motor. That motor's awesome. I've never really had any issues with the Hellfire motors, except that one time when we were using it with the Cyclos, which is the one we were kind of having issues with the censored wire. There was something going on when it was plugged in censored. It was getting really hot. But I haven't experienced that here, and I haven't experienced it with the motor on any other ESC. So I think it was, again, with the Cyclos ESC itself. And as far as I know, they've probably fixed that by now. I just have not really revisited it yet. But this guy didn't get hot at all. Like the temperature stayed, we ran it all the way through a full pack. I charged it up, ran another like half pack, and it didn't seem to get hot at all. So that was awesome. And yeah, and it's got all the electronics and the extra light and all that. So you would think if it was going to get hot, it would. So I'm guessing the Microboost is going to be, like I said, the bare bones version of this because it looks the same, just minus the screen, and it's about the same size. And so yeah, should run pretty good with that. So we'll check that out next, I think. I don't know what else to say, guys. Definitely digging it. Like I said, if you've got a micro drifter or you just like the screen and you like the cool factor of that guy, definitely give this thing a chance. It's really a pretty well priced ESC for what you're getting. A lot of the competition out there is like 90 to 100 bucks. This guy is 90 bucks and with the screen. So, and sensor, multiple sensor cables. Most ESCs don't come with multiple sensor cables for different motors. They come with a sensor cable for their motor. So nice that Furitek is including multiple cables for that. And I really definitely appreciate that. It's just got a ton of features that other guys just don't have. The fact that you can still run the Bluetooth, huge, right? Like I love tuning the ESCs with the Bluetooth app. Nobody else has done that better so far. Furitek is number one, in my opinion, when it comes to being able to adjust your ESC, change the settings. Why don't you guys put down in the comments below, boost it. Boost it. If you watch this whole video, this is kind of a long one for what this guy is, but we did want to show all the features, but boost it will let us know you watched the whole video all the way to the end here. A little secret for everybody that's watched the whole video. They'll know you watched it because you put it down in the comments. Huge shout out to all of our channel members. Thank these guys for supporting the channel. Thanks to these guys and gals for supporting the channel. They are awesome. They get behind the scenes footage, channel member only videos. They get early viewing of all the videos that I'm allowed to without ads. They get priority comment replies. I see all their comments first. They have a special channel for them only in the Discord. You can always ask questions in the Discord. Anybody who wants to join the Discord, they can down in the description below. So make sure you join the Discord if you're into communities like that, chat communities. There's an awesome community there. People showing off builds, people helping other people build, people asking questions. Awesome community. Definitely join the Discord. I highly recommend it. And yeah, channel members also at the highest tier. Get this. Awesome slaps that get sent out every month. So if you're interested in some slaps, censored brushless, just like this guy is. Censored brushless ESC level is the level to be if you want some stickers. Anyway, guys, thanks again for hanging out. Get out there and build something awesome. After you like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell. Almost got you. But yes, getting out there and building something awesome is the most important part of the hobby. So build a car, build a course, build a community. All those things can be awesome. And all three of those things, if you build them, they will come. If you want new people to run with, new people to race with, crawl with, whatever, just bring new people out. You got to do it. Got to build the hobby, guys. Keep bringing them in. Nobody else is going to do it. We need you to do it. I do it all the time at my local track. I'm always bringing new people in, and you can do it too. Just bring Bring an extra car if you got one. Bring an extra truck if you got one. Put the remote in somebody's hand. Be approachable. Be nice. Be willing to answer questions. Just know, if you're not going to get new people in, you're going to be doing it by yourself. You're going to be running alone. Nobody wants to race alone. Not usually, anyway. If you do, more power to you. But most of us like to race and socialize. So definitely bringing new people in is important. Sorry for the little rant. We're going to get out of here. Car course community. Build them. Smash it, crash it, bash it. Just don't break the expensive parts. Peace.